So, what would you like to know about the civilian-owned, bought in an auction, retired torpedo recovery vessel, previously or currently owned, actually probably currently owned by Mr. Sam?
Sam Kodaimati bought this retired torpedo retriever in 2021 with big plans. But first, he needed to restore it to a seaworthy condition and get it off the Rhode Island dock.
Sam happened to pick it up at auction, and with the, he's telling me he is going to fix it up a little bit, crew it up, and then put it back into service, hired out to the Navy on contract to go back to what it was doing. We're digging through and just doing a couple of systems tests of a few pieces of equipment, looking through some records. I'm telling Sam, we're going to need to have a couple crew to help us out. This isn't something you, me, and somebody else are going to do. And Sam's like, we got to go. Sam, we got to take some boxes before we just go. He said, when was the last time the bottom was cleaned? What does running gear look like? We haven't even done a system check on anything. We don't just turn the keys and it rolls, not a rental car. We're not leaving today. This boat's not leaving anywhere tomorrow. We got to get this through. The surveyor will come back, give a list of things. The insurance company will say you need to fix this and this before you leave, and then you get your insurance policy. Well, the idea is I'm just going to go up the river in Charleston and anchor it, because anybody can anchor anywhere up there. I said, so after that, then they took off and headed into the Atlantic. And once out into the Atlantic, what I heard third party back was they started losing power.
Despite Magny's advice, Kodaimati set sail, hoping to refuel in New York. Along with him and a small crew, a group of students hoping to do robotics research tagged along.
It was just about dusk, so it was around 7 or 8 o'clock that we all decided to not go out on deck anymore. One, it was getting too cold. Two, the sea spray was starting to get high enough over the sides that it would soak you pretty quickly. Somewhere around 10 o'clock, the coffee pot shot across the room and smashed on a wall and broke. They had cold water survival gear, so we started having the four of us get prepared and get the cold water survival gear out of the bags. At about 6 in the morning, when the Coast Guard got there, that's when we requested to take our crew member off their boat and onto the Coast Guard boat. And Sam said, no, drive the boat in zigzags. Don't let them near our boat.
The Coast Guard evacuated the researchers, and the rest of the crew pressed on. But it wasn't long before they needed help again.
I had never met Sam. I knew of Sam in that Jamie had this customer who had bought some interesting military surplus equipment here and there. Already in those planning stages, the idea was that he was kind of the brains, and there were supposed to be other experienced people to be the brawn, and this crew of young students. I had been checking on AIS, and they had been making some progress, and that was great. And then they sort of stopped. When we drove up and down the highway and could not find the TWR 841 on the inner side of Fire Island where we expected to find her. That was the point in which I realized, well, where are you? The TWR was rolling significantly for a vessel that size. So just getting onto the TWR was a challenge. We verified that the installed battery was reading as dead. So swapped out the battery, and with a new battery, the generator started up easily. They had a plan to fuel in New York. And unfortunately, that's not quite how it worked out. I could not get the generator up to stay up. It kept shutting down on this low voltage shutdown. So I went to start the generator came up, our lights came on, and we took a hard roll, and it promptly went off on a loss of lube oil alarm, meaning it rolled over so hard that the sensor that's tells you that there's engine oil in your engine said, oh, there's no oil, I'm going to shut down. And that was that last little bit of power in the battery to start that engine. So now I can't start my generator, and I definitely can't get the anchor up. I was pretty concerned that if the weather picked up, because there was also a hurricane coming up the coast. And so if we were rolling that badly on like what looks like relatively calm weather, what is coming our way? Going out on that deck at night, it has all these rollers on it intended for handling torpedoes. However, in the pitch black, it's a complete trip hazard. And I remember I was on the phone with the Coast Guard operations specialist, and I was going out there so I could rig lights, right? And I remember kind of telling her, like, thank you for being the voice at the other end of the line, because you're the only person that really knows that I'm out here.
A tow company was dispatched to take HAZAR to a Brooklyn shipyard. After a few weeks, Kodaimati and the ship continued to Charleston, where it was eventually left in the banks of Bohagget Creek. It sat there for 4 years before a local salvage company dislodged it, and they will either scrap the ship or sink it to make an artificial reef.